Capricorn Sun, Moon, Rising. I'm Christy Forsyth with Clarity by Christy. I am a soul therapist and an intuitive that connects with the angelic energy, and I help the helpers, the light bringers, and the soulpreneurs of this world to live their most magical life. So if that's you, make sure you hit that subscribe button with the bell so you can get notifications for all the videos that I'm sharing here on the channel. And today we are going to be diving into your February 2020. What do you need to know about this month, and how can you best navigate it? And I do want to say that as I'm looking at your spread, this is really interesting because this has already happened and already come up in another reading. So to me, this is really suggesting that this is going to be part of this universal theme. But I'm recognizing that you have a lot of kings and queens showing up within your spread, okay? And so that is really suggesting to me that it is time to recognize the king or the queen within. It's time to recognize where you can step up and be a leader in a really positive way. You know, how can you shine? How can you lead and show people the way, and do that in a kind and loving way? You know, how can you step into your power? How can you really embrace the king and the queen that you really are deep down inside? So this is going to be an overarching theme, I believe, for the collective, but it's definitely going to be highlighted for you this month. So embrace that king or queen within and let yourself connect with how that's going to play out throughout this month. So we are going to take a peek first at the overarching theme for you. So I have pulled actually 4 cards in that category because some of these cards were actually popping out of the deck. So the first card that we have here is the 4 of Air, and this is really suggesting to me like you've been through a lot, especially mentally. I also am finding a lot of air cards, which are swords in traditional tarot, which for me, this is like saying to me, like you've spent a lot of time in your head, you've been worrying about a lot of things, you've been overthinking about a lot of things. There's been a lot going on in your head, which also was a part of the universal energy that we had going on throughout January. And so this is really a time to just take good care of yourself, time to rest, time to do a little bit more meditating, a little bit more calm and peaceful things, a little bit more yoga, or whatever it is that you do to kind of quietly take care of yourself and quietly rest a little bit more, go to bed a little bit earlier, anything you can do to get a little bit more sleep, and allowing yourself to just take a pause, take some time before you are jumping into any decisions, okay? You're going to want to make sure that you take that time that allows you to get into a meditative state, whether it's actual meditation or whether it's those things that you do that get you into that state of flow where you find that important insights come through for you. Some of us, that's like when we're driving in the car. For me, sometimes it's like when I'm doing something like taking a shower or getting ready for my day, when I'm just kind of doing things that I can go through the motions with and I get into sort of a mindless flow. This is where our intuition can really pop through and the answers can come through. So anything that you can do to invite this kind of a state into your life this month, that's going to be really, really helpful for you. So the next card that we have here, and this was interesting to me because this one was the one that jumped right out, is the Queen card, okay? So the Queen card says, radiates the regal feminine, uses her benevolent authority to protect others. So this is about leading, but this is about leading in an honorable way, leading in a way that shows love for yourself, but shows love for others as well. So really embracing that queen within yourself, and you know, even that king within yourself for our men who are watching. But you know, we also might, as a man, embrace that inner feminine, embrace that inner flow energy, you know, embrace that inner intuitive energy, because this can be all part of the divine feminine energy that we are wanting to empower here in our life. So the next card that we have here is the Make Music card, okay? So this is saying to me, pay attention to the way that music is showing up in your life. How can you use music to help pull you out of a depression, to pull you out of a tough mental state, to pull you out of anxiety? How can you use it to make you feel more positive? How can you use it to feel lighter. And where are their answers coming in through music? You know, I find sometimes when I'm pulling this card, people are recognizing that, you know, a song that comes on the radio or a song that just plays seems to stand out to them in some way, or some of the lyrics stand out to them in some way. That is not by mistake. That is one of the ways that our guides and our angels are trying to show us the way. So pay attention to music or lyrics in music, or using music to heal yourself in some way. So that's going to be really important for you as we go about this month. And then we have the thief archetype energy. Okay. I love this, by the way. So this isn't maybe what you think. So it says, sheds light on the potential wealth within you that can never be stolen. Okay, so what's really important usually is not something that people can take away from us. And how do we protect that which, the treasure that exists within us, right? How do we protect that? How do we honor that? How do we recognize that no matter what's going on outside of ourselves, that these beautiful gifts that God, the universe, whatever you want to call that, has given us can never be taken away. And we don't want to allow our power to be given away, or other people to take away our drive or our motivation or our focus on developing these beautiful things within us, on shining our light, on being our best. That's going to be so important as we are navigating this month, and just kind of always, right? That's super important. So the next card that we have is the challenges card. And this is a beautiful energy. We have the King of Water. Okay, so this is really saying, yep, you've been through a lot, you know, you've been through a lot, and this is like heart-centered stuff, okay, right? So your heart has been through a lot. You know, maybe you've been very hurt recently, and I feel like there is a lot of the energy. Maybe someone or several people have really hurt you, or you've been working on releasing relationship patterns that don't serve you, but there's been a lot of hurt, there's been a lot of pain that's come through that. Or sometimes when we are trying to set boundaries, we can actually go overboard and set boundaries in such a way that we are blocking ourselves a bit, that we are closing our heart. So really the message here is, where are you closing your heart? Where are you being too closed? And where are you being too self-protective in matters of the heart? And how can you open that back up again? That doesn't mean that we have to let toxic people back into our life. That doesn't mean that we have to even re-engage in relationships that just haven't served us in the past. What this means is to not close yourself off to future possibilities, or to possibilities that are showing up for us. Have an open heart. Allow yourself to have an open heart as you just experience this world, because when we have an open heart, we're finding joy, we're finding light, we're finding happiness in even the littlest things. So how can we have an open heart? How can we receive help from other people? How can we give help to other people? How can we find a nice balance there with that? And this is saying, so the card itself says, open your heart and your mind to those around you. Who's wanting to be in your life? Who's wanting to show up for you? Who's wanting to support you? And yes, sometimes people have ulterior motives, but sometimes people just really want to help us or really want to do good things. And don't let the negative things that have happened in the past prevent you from connecting with someone, or accepting help from someone, or accepting just anything from somebody else. That don't let that prevent you from doing that. I think that that's really important. And allow yourself to even receive, you know, if somebody comes to you and they have advice that, you know what, is pretty good, and maybe it's not necessarily what we want to hear, but it's accurate, allow yourself to receive that advice. You know, if somebody really cares about us and they're coming from a place of love and they're reflecting things to us, it's really important that we at least allow ourselves to feel that out and to be open to that, okay? So this is about openness, even though we have been hurt, okay? So that is going to be important for you guys. And the gift that we have here in this month is the Star card. I love this card. This is one of my favorite cards in the deck, right? Because this is about shining your light. This is about feeling joyful, feeling happy, you being on the right track, you shining your light, you feeling really lit up. So we're moving from that earlier energy that we talked about and moving into this ability to feel happy, to feel joyful. Hold on one second. I'm dropping things here. my list of what these cards mean. So that's kind of an important list. It has dropped in every video. So I guess I need to get a better sticky note, right? So what we have here is this card is really saying you're on the right path. You know, keep shining your light, keep working on building and rebuilding your light and reconnecting to that, because our light never fully goes out, right? It's just, it might dim, but it never fully goes out, and you always have this light that's right here in your heart center. So focus on growing that. Sometimes I even like to like envision that, imagining that spark of light right here in your heart, and imagine filling the entire inside of the body with that, and then imagine surrounding the outside of the body in a bubble of light. That can be a really beautiful way to adjust your energy and to reconnect with your light. And this can also be about, you know, helping other people to shine their light. Maybe one of the best things that you do is to help other people to shine. You pull out those amazing things from other people. So this can also be about you shining your light through helping other people to shine their light as well. So that might be a possibility as well. I do feel like you guys are going to be helping and doing some things to help other people. So that makes a whole lot of sense to me. So the next card that we have here is in the category of lessons that we're going to be learning. Okay, so this is the Queen of Air. The Queen of Air reversed is what we have here. And so when the Queen of Air is upright, she just makes really good decisions for herself from an intuitive place, but also it's a really nice balance between intuitive and logical, right? And she just doesn't mess around. If something needs to be cleared out of her life, she clears it, right? She lets it go. She and she's able to do that with like a sense of humor, right? I love that about her. She has like this independence, and she's witty, and she's smart, and you know, like all of these beautiful things. And we want to embrace this Queen of Air energy. I love the Queen of Air energy, but I think that it's really important to recognize that this card is showing up reversed. So this is saying to me that you're not quite there with this, okay? And that we really want to get in that, move in that direction of being there. We really want to make decisions that are best for us, and we might make decisions that are quick, right? We might find ways to shift our focus, to shift our perspective, to look at things from a different angle and recognize, oh my God, like this just doesn't serve me. Where are you stuck? Where are you perceiving things in a way that doesn't serve you, that isn't helpful? What patterns are you repeating that you need to release, that you need to kind of say, you know what, it's time for this to go. I do feel like this can come in. I do feel like you can make these changes if you invite this Queen of Air energy into your life. So invite her in, invite her to help you to clear away anything that's not serving you, and to have a sense of humor about anything that's just shifting or changing in your life, and have a good time with it. So the next card is so interesting that we have the Queen of Air reversed, right? And then the next card that we have here in the advice section is the King of Air, okay? The King of Air is, so he's very much in his logical way of thinking, okay? He makes great decisions for himself as well. He is, you know, like he's a very mental guy, not mental. That sounds terrible. Like he's very in his head, you know. He's brilliant. He's able to process a lot of things and come up with some really amazing answers, and kind of bring together again those logical ideas with maybe more intuitive ideas. Like he's really able to blend those. But when the King of Air is coming in, sometimes this for me says, number one, again, you need to look at that energy of like, what thoughts do I need to let go of? What thoughts do I need to adjust? But this is kind of saying that sometimes we need a little extra help with that, okay? Sometimes we need professional support. Maybe we need to go to counseling. Maybe we need to go to a life coach. Maybe we need to have some conversations, process it, talk it out with somebody outside of yourself, because the King of Air can be so focused in his head that he isn't talking it out. he isn't processing it, and he needs that outside of himself in order to help balance this out a little bit. So you need to take some of the things that are in your head and find a way to process those outside of yourself. And this can be more challenging for this King of Air energy, because this is a little bit more of, I'm an introvert, I'm an internal processor, and it's still going to be important to seek some help, seek some support with this in whatever way it makes sense to you. And if you don't want to reach out to another person, if that is wildly uncomfortable for you, number one, I think you should do it because it's wildly uncomfortable, right? Because that pushes you out of your comfort zone. But if you don't want to do that, even trying to write some things down helps you to access the creative, the intuitive part of your brain. And so you may find that simply by writing things out, journaling things, exploring answers through writing, that you're able to find different answers and get different perspectives than you are simply by processing it in your mind. So that's going to be really important for you to invite in and process these somewhere outside of yourself, somewhere outside of your head, okay? And so the next cards that we have here, I pulled 3 cards for the what else. What else do we need to know? What else do the angels want you to know for best navigating this month? So here we have the 2 of Earth reversed, okay? So the 2 of Earth is... for me, number one, it can be just like you've got a lot going on at once, and you're not really juggling everything the way that you need to. You know, you're not really handling everything in the best way possible. And so what do you need to release? What do you need to let go? What do you need to say no to? That kind of stuff. This is also about, like, I'm not being playful enough. You know, I'm not being silly enough. I'm not having a good time. And so how can you be more playful? How can you be more silly? How can you just find some ways to enjoy life, to have fun? Because I think if you can step into more of a playful approach with things and just, again, enjoy yourself, like this Queen of Air is all about finding humor in even some of the toughest situations. How can I laugh? How can I just be silly and have fun? You know, how can I just find humor in anything, even the most challenging circumstances? And this is also saying, you know, find humor, find fun. Even if something doesn't feel fun, find fun in it. I'm just like, I'm having this memory right now of I had to, when I was first reconnecting with my intuitive gifts and I was starting to see auras around people and things like that, I actually had a different job at the time, and I had to go to this really boring training, and I was so bored, right? And so the way that I made that fun for myself was that I read people's auras all day. And I worked on my intuition. I worked on, okay, so what do I think that means? And what does that mean to me? And so I worked on developing my gifts, and it was so fun for me, and it made it go by so fast. So how can you make even things that don't seem that fun, make them more fun, okay? And then we have the hedonist card reversed. And the hedonist card, when it's in its reverse, says, pursues pleasure to the detriment of health, indulges at the expense of others. So where are you being too indulgent? Where are you being too lazy? Where are you being too much of whatever, you know? And where are you drinking too much alcohol? Are you eating too many foods that you know aren't really serving your body in a positive way? You know, are you spending too much money? This 2 of Earth reverse can also be about, like, spending more money than you're actually making, you know? And so it's important for us to find a balance there. Where are you just seeking pleasure to the point that it is negatively impacting your life? You've got to get that ego under control. You have got to begin to talk back to that and say, no, like, I understand that this is what feels good in the immediate moment, but what feels good for the long term? What's in alignment with my long-term goals and what I really want for my life? And so sometimes that's helpful for me to talk back to my ego by asking myself, you know, is this in alignment with my goals? Is this in alignment with where I want my life to, how I want my life to look in 3 years? Is this choice in alignment with that? And that really helps me to make some better decisions for myself, better decisions for my life. So that can be a really helpful tool. And then the last card that we have here is miracle healing, okay? So your health, you might be struggling health-wise a little bit, or just not quite feeling right, not quite feeling like energized, or maybe just because mentally you've had so much going on, you just are feeling a little bit out of sorts. And this is really saying that if you can make some small shifts, it's just beginning to take better care of yourself, beginning to be aware of the choices that you're making, and making some little shifts for that, miracle healing will happen. Okay, so understand that as you begin to take action, your angels and your guides will take care of the rest, and they will provide you with miracle healing, with assistance on your journey of wellness and well-being, whether it's spiritual well-being that you're needing, physical well-being, emotional well-being, or all of the above. Anything that you're needing, they are going to help to provide you with healing, or to help guide you to wherever it is that you're needing, or whatever it is that you're needing to heal your mind, body, and soul. Okay, so understand that if you feel intuitively guided to try something, do something, schedule a specific appointment, whatever that is, follow through with that, because that is your guides and your angels trying to show you how you can heal your life. It might not make sense to you, but usually intuition doesn't necessarily make logical sense, or it doesn't always connect. But later on, when we can look back at our life and recognize how, seeing this healer was helpful to us, then we're like, okay, I understand now why my intuition led me there, or why, starting something new led to something else, and led to something else, and it really got you started on a healing journey. So just keep listening, just keep following your intuition and following the flow. But I think overall, like, this is you ultimately moving into this energy that is the star. So hang in there, because this is a really hopeful, beautiful, light-filled energy. I'm Christy Forsyth with Clarity by Christy. If you want to learn more about me or about clarity, you can check me out at discoveryourawakening.com. And if you guys like this video, make sure you hit that like button, and I would love to have you be a subscriber, so hit that subscribe button with the notification bell so you can get notifications for all of the videos that I'm sharing here on the channel. Take care, guys.